A little stream. What is up? Good afternoon, my friends. Welcome back to another video, another stream in particular with me, Hydra. We're going to be going through the build very briefly just to have a little bit of a rant and waffle about it, and then of course we're going to crack on and carry on enjoying this attempt to get as far as we can in the war zone. Who knows how far we'll get, but we shall have to see. Now, quick recap on the weapon. Of course, we're using the old Thunder Hammer. The main component of this build is stacking as much damage reduction as we can using the character perk Protection Ultima, giving me 7% of my resources added to extra damage reduction. So that's getting me up to a whopping 67% damage reduction over here, which is pretty nifty. I'm getting this by getting as much focus as I can on my gear. So I've got 18, 22, I've got another 22 here somewhere. These are all the bits of gear that you can get. So that one could be a 22, that could be re-rolled. As well as that, we also have one other lovely thing, which is over in the skills and down in the defense tree, which gives 25% of your damage reduction added as deflect, which gives us a fairly reasonable amount of deflect, something I'm quite happy with. So, what else are we doing? Well, the rest is really just damage. We've got close combat, we've got more damage, we've got a little bit of extra focus here. Each one of these is sort of getting on for 0.6, 0.7% damage reduction. That's pretty goddamn good. Hit point tree 2 might not be necessary, but we're rocking with it for now. Yo, Lilandra, how's it going? Long time no see. How was Gamescom? I'm so sad I didn't get to go. Oh, there were some really cool things, and even some developers were like, oh, hey, are you coming? We can say hey and hang out. Next year, I guess, next year. So, Warzone. Let's crack on. Was it really super duper busy? Because I do hear it's pretty nuts. We're going to go 67, we're going to go all the way up to 69, we're going to keep going with the extra chance to regain an inoculator. I don't really think we need to use this one, and we're just going to start. Got plenty of damage. Yeah, I know. I'll just have to come over to Dutchy Land. That would be a second best, I guess. Maybe that would be more awesome than Gamescom, because I really like the idea of Gamescom, but I think I'd definitely try and squeeze in on a media day if I could sort of weasel my way in. I don't dislike crowds, but I like being able to shuffle about a little bit, you know. So let's use some mitigation abilities here, because we do take a fair bit of damage. And we get some cooldown with our actual deflect as well, so that always helps. We'll kill the gates first. And we don't have a heal on the inoculator as well, which is quite interesting, but we do have a 1 in 4 chance on the hammer to heal us when we hit something. So if you do a big AoE slap, chances are you're going to get healed. And, well, that's pretty much it to understanding this build. Let's go take down the commander down here. And as you can see, every time I do a dash ability, I'm getting a pretty decent heal here. And this is taking into account the fact that my health goes down pretty quickly due to crisis management until I'm on low health, in which case it goes down pretty damn slow. So it's a little bit more stressful using crisis management because you watch your health start to go down pretty quick. But it does stabilise once it goes past the 50% mark. Let's pop another one of these too. So you see it hovering around there. I mean, anything else that you can make work with crisis management, things that give you extra damage reduction when your health is low, extra health regen maybe when your health is low, not a terrible idea. Anything that gives you a percentage of health gained, not a bad idea either. Because we've got a lot of hit points on this. We've got 7.5k. That's a pretty good amount of health, isn't it? That's pretty nuts. Pretty damn nuts. So the build, whoa. The build works fine. I'm being a little bit slack with damage here. I don't actually have to kill these demons, but I'm an Inquisitor. And I believe you shouldn't leave heresy behind. So, Paul, good to see you. Toko, how's it going? Harrow, back at you. Right, let's crack on and kill the rest of these heretical scummers. The overhead smash is quite nice too. The other ability I've gone for in the debuff tree is to apply I thought I was applying a shock after knockdown, but it does seem like it's not actually happening. But the extra damage reduction you get from shock, it's 20 or 40% damage reductions to their damage speed, is pretty handy. At least I'm pretty sure it's 20 up to 40%. It might even go as high as 60, but it's something you can make useful. But looking at it, I'm not 100% sure it's actually applying. I guess I should stop them summoning this thing. Right. Lots and lots of Daka going on at the moment. Really, the damage isn't that threatening right now. We've got quite a few levels to go up before we get to the stressful point, I think. And there's some extra mitigation options we can go for if we need. And if we just need another 2 toughness as well. Another 2 toughness. And then, oh my word, and then we get another 5% damage reduction, which is pretty crazy. So how's it going? Right. There we go down there. Chat's ready to display messages. How's it going, Paul? Sorry, wasn't paying attention for a second there, reading the chat, and I died. Good stuff. Got the console version? Good stuff. Fair enough, Azur. You decided to join. Well, I hope you enjoy it, my friend. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you aren't. Don't turn into one of the angry forum trolls. That will be a sad fate. A sad fate. Nothing worse than logging in every day to comment on a game that you dislike. I hope that never happens to me. Hope that never happens to me. There's so many games to play this day and age. I think 40k fans feel a little sense of duty that if a game is bad, that they need to tell people it's bad so other people don't buy it. I honestly think people do think they're doing other fans a favour by logging in every day to insult a game. Fair enough. I can sort of see some twisted logic in that. It's just doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Time to kill a rebel psyker. Smack, smack, smack. And I think I can actually just sit here and stomach this. Smack, smack, smack. You don't have time to troll like that. Well, what you need is a job where you can go on Discord while at work. That, I think, is how to do it. So how many rooms we got left? We've got 10 minutes left. We're doing fine for time. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Tell you what, we'll walk on ahead. Pop the other inoculator. And jump in there. Prioritise these things. Oh, health, please. And perhaps a little bit more damage mitigation is actually needed. I reckon we can probably do another 20 levels quite easily before I have to start thinking a little bit. I mean, every now and again I could be thinking now. But it's not too stressful. Just seeing the health go low, yeah, okay, that is a little bit stressful. But it's not that bad. So how's everyone's weekend going? Any console players here that have come to check out a little bit of the PC footage? How is the frame rate looking? And you know what? There's actually quite a few console players that are enjoying it at this phase. And to be fair, I'm not trying to say that it's better on console, but I think the console players probably haven't reached the point where they run out of stuff to do yet. Once you get to the end of the campaign, that's where give it 2 weeks and then see what happens to the reviews. I suspect it will go a little bit of the way of the PC, where the reviews will start off a little bit more positive than negative, and as people sort of basically exhaust what the game has to offer, then I think you'll see things balance out a little bit. I don't know what the number will be though, and it has benefited from a few of the XP rate changes. Maybe that will help a bit, who knows. People are fairly hard on the game. People are very hard on the game, but I think in a way, Brad, I do think some of it is a little bit, I wouldn't go, maybe not so far as self-inflicted, but I think there's certain things that Neocore haven't done to help themselves, like insisting it's an open world game, or keep it still using that. I mean, the communication is, in terms of frequency, is okay, but it doesn't come in the format that players want. Players really want like dev diaries, you know, like what are you making and why, and when are things going to change, and what changes are you going to make. We do get a lot of very vague statements, and we get a lot of statements from the PR. They're in the forums all the damn time. But I think what players really would like is a bit more on the old, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's get out of there. You know, more meaningful. Okay, you're gonna work on changing this system because X, Y, Z reasons and science. I think that's what. Oh, good lord. Okay, so this room has a lot of DACA in it. Okay, we need to actually kill the regen tower. It's kind of screwing me up here. Come on. Off we go. Off we go. I do think people are harsher on this game than they would be if it wasn't a 40k game. But then I think a lot of people that are playing it wouldn't be playing it if it wasn't a 40k game. So, well, I can see a little bit of... And 40k fans are just annoyed that they keep getting games that are not as good as they'd like. Yo, Alf, how's it going, my man? Check out Paul if you're looking for a Cabal. We are rhyming today too. Welcome to Smooth FM. With your boy Hydra, cracking on with a Thunderhammer. That's something they do. I don't know if you guys, anyone's in the UK here, but Smooth FM, the radio station, every time they say something, there's a little in the middle. Welcome to Smooth FM. It's not quite that bad, but it does come across as a little bit smarmy. We're not going to be dishing out relationship advice, though. This is going to be for purging. Unless you're asking about your relationship with demons, in which case the answer is purge them. Exorcise them, purge them, burn the witch, burn the heretic, the mutant, and I think there's something else. I can't remember what the other one was. If in doubt, probably purge it. If it might be a heretic, probably purge it. If there's two of them, exterminatus, just to be safe. Well, no name, I am on PC, so I've had a while to hit 70, and I did use a couple of meme viruses, to be fair. I did use them, so that did kind of help. And I had a lot of fate to burn through. A lot of fate to burn through. Kill the mutant, burn the heretic, deny the witch. Deny the witch. Deny it as in, like, cockblock her. As in, like, whoa, 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 don't talk to the witch. Deny the witch. I presume it deny her the ability to do evil things. I don't quite get that one. Range, heat, crit, blah. Yo, what's up, Chris? How you doing, my man? Okay, let's sell some rubbish. We've got a lot of rubbish here. Right. Now, is there any optimizing we could be doing here? Because I do have a lot invested on the extra health side of things, and I kind of feel like that's not a bad thing when you've gone for a mitigation-based build. You know, the total effective health does go up quite dramatically. We're a long way from getting anything else over here. The extra physical resistance... Maybe. I mean, we could whop out a shield and get loads of deflect. That's kind of cool, but we're never going to spend focus points, so that's not that good. Deflect bonus from shields, I mean, we could put an extra point in that and do things. We got the points up here to give shock debuff to targets that are affected by a stun, blind, or knockdown. However, I'm not entirely sure that's actually doing anything right now. I'll tell you what would be good, actually, is an armor with a bonus that actually benefited me. So, the execution bonus... I've tried proccing this, and this active thing doesn't even work. And in terms of what the other things I could have this one, which I don't have an armor ability because of the perk I'm using, so that's useless. I have that one, which is useless. Well, it's not useless. It's great if you're running around an empty map, so it's useless. That's not too bad, I guess. Maybe a little bit. And then that's probably the best one I've got. Maybe we should be re-rolling this. 4.2 deflect on that. How about them apples? You know what? That's actually... Let's do a little bit of re-rolling. Just a tiny weeny bit. just a tiny weeny bit, because I wouldn't mind a little bit more deflect. We've got 4.2 on there. We need damage reduction. We need we got 4.3 damage reduction, actually. Let's see what else we can get. Health might be okay. Damage reduction range, I think, is probably pretty good. Let's re-roll this to a 40, and 9 will resist. Is that the cap? Ah, we need a 40 and a 10, ideally. Sod it. I'm not going to spend all day here. Let's go over here. Let's get the armor that we're going to be using. Damage reduction, range, and deflect. That actually looks like a fair upgrade from what I've got at the moment. Let's stick a chainsword in here. Let's stick a melter gun in there. Get rid of that. There we go. Job's a good one. And did it. Ah, there we go. 1% move speed. Da-da-da-da. But we have a 2% chance to trigger a Reservis force field when hit. I'm feeling like that might be useful. We'll give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? Oh my god, and we're going to sort our colour scheme out right now. I will go back to fighting, I promise, but I'm not going to purge heretics looking like this. What an absolute disaster. So, expensive. Let's go expensive. Let's show off a little bit of the colour doodah. Should we go red? Should we go yellow? I mean, we could go bad moon. We could be all about that bad moon. Why don't we go for green? I feel like green is still incredibly inquisitorial. Green with a gold trim. Still pretty good. That will do there. Material 1 is that. We're going to go for a silvery background, and we're going to bring that texture down a little bit. There we go. And can we go grime? We'll go nice and dirty. Nearly at sort of plague bearer level. Oh, right. That will do very nicely. Shame about the helmet. Shame about the armour as a general. Right, we'll apply that. And can we make the hammer look any better? It's a bit of a... It's like a meat hammer, isn't it? It's not the best looking hammer in the world. Not the best looking hammer in the world. Can we make it gold? Yeah, that'll do. Not going to spend all day here. Right, crack on. More missions, more war zones. Whew. 45G. Damn. 45 gig, that is big. That is pretty hearty. 72. Let's crack on. Is there anything here I can use that might be more useful? Hit points might be okay. Damage. 500 hit points is not too shabby. That's also not too bad. Chance to regain 1 charge after each support skill. Let's go with health and just sort of see what happens. I think we're still okay damage-wise. Picked it up at B&Q. Absolutely. Welcome to the B&Q Meat Hammer Tenderizer. Got it on their Boxing Day sale. It's not the coolest looking hammer in the world, and it doesn't seem to do as much sort of... I mean, lightning... Yeah, I guess that does actually look kind of cool, doesn't it? You just kind of lose that when you're surrounded by heretics. You forget. It's not really lightning, though, is it? Now, what I do kind of need is something to just make me attack faster. Ugh. I think what I might do as well is upgrade the AoE damage to like 30% more. I think that's probably not a bad shout. Oh, I love that. Now, is there a gate in here? There we go. Stun all those, slap those, jump on that. We're on minus 87% damage right now, so the damage is nearly as low as it's gonna go. Not too shabby. Feeling tanky. As long as we keep the belt abilities and all this up, we're laughing, really. We also get a little bonus health when we do crits. That's always handy. It's not a whopping amount, but it does make a big difference. It's still a little extra spike of health. Well, hello. How's it going, Screw It? How is it going? We are just currently purging. Let's use another inoculator. slowly getting there. A little bit more damage would be nice. I mean, look at that. That is not... Oh, that is not damage to be proud of. Nice, 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 nice. I think the Rosarius is making a fair difference here. Seems to be proccing fairly often. I don't like relying on it, though. I like having the mitigation there as and when I need it. And then if it gives me a break every now and again and lets me just sort of chill out and mash buttons for a few seconds, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Okay. Okay, a couple of crashes on the Xbox, but what is the frame rate looking like on the console, guys? How is the frame rate looking? Is there, would you dare say it's up at 60? As far as I'm aware, they haven't committed to telling us what number it is, but is it higher than 30? Perhaps let me know. I'll be super curious. Love to play it on console. Don't have one. Makes that difficult. Right. Did she just heal? Right, let's pop another one of these. Pop one of those two. And smush some heretics. Oh, the damage. I mean, optimal dispersion's probably still not a bad shout just for this game type. Because, well, let's face it. And it's also worth considering that the leap ability is actually a ranged attack, so I should really be going for the range tree here. I'll tell you what, we'll try swapping that round in a moment, see what sort of difference it makes. Smacky, 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 bish, bash, bosh. Smacky, 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 bish, bash, bosh. And I'm wondering if we can make it up to like 80% damage resist. I don't think we will, but... Again, once we get a little icky bitty extra gear, extra bit of toughness, that would be nice. Daka, daka, daka. No frame rate issues on the Xbox One S. Nice. PS4, no issues either. That's good to hear. I mean, they did delay the game to fix the frame rate, so if it wasn't fixed, you know, you guys would have reason to be a little bit on the upset side. And I see as well on Horus Heresy Legions, we have ourselves a new faction to play as. The Raven Guard, I think. Why do lasguns overheat so fast? Yeah, that's a good question. You have to sort of spec into the whole heat thing a little bit. But they do overheat pretty quick, I'll give you that one. But there are a lot of Astartes here. How about, let me just do my thing. Damage needs to go up a little bit, doesn't it? It does. It needs to go up a bit. We'll work on this. This is top priority. Poor design and manufacture process. Well, that's a good reason for the lasgun failing. It's not had the sacred unguents applied in the right order, and the prayers were likely not said with quite enough conviction. That's the most probable reason for a weapon underperforming in 40k. You didn't talk to it properly. Ha! Now, no Wrath and Glory game this weekend. Sorry to say, DM's on holiday. Even though I'm preparing a little one-shot campaign of my own that I will be running, and I might even publish a little trailer for it tomorrow. I am afraid there will be no Caligari Chronicles this weekend for anyone looking forward to that. I'm sorry. I'm sad. I would love to be playing it this weekend, but of course, life and reasons and things. And I don't have a console, indeed. Indeed. Well, I have an Xbox 360 kicking around here somewhere. That's about it, though. Indeed. Ah, I knew there was one of these around here somewhere. Bish, bash, bosh. I'm wondering if optimal dispersion really actually might be semi-useful here, just to clear out the trash a little bit quicker. I mean, you tend to kill most stuff in one hit anyway, though. Well, maybe 2 hits for a lot of things, but is that going to make a big difference? Maybe. Maybe it would. Oh, get the stuns in. There's the Rosarius proc. Oh, didn't see this. How bad am I? I'm curious. I am curious whatever happened to the Night Lords. We got the Dark Elder in the game at the moment. They're here. That's a thing. We know they're here. Oh, it's open. Let's go. Oh, let's proc that and pick that up. Used an inoculator. Didn't mean to. Never mind. Now, is there going to be an inoculator refill? No. That's cool. Nice easy one, this one. Oh, hello. We've got a big guy to kill. Okay, let's kill the gates first. We'll do this properly. Stun some guys, do some more AoE. Use more of the... I'm not sure if the refractor field's actually needed at the moment. Maybe something that deflects damage back would be helpful. We can have a think about that in a moment. Come on, there we go. That's all of that dead. Nice. Oh, where are you going? Nice, spawning all the demons. Use the buttons, use the things. Okay, let's kill the champion. We'll see if we can kill the kill this thing by accident by doing AoE. I wonder how I'll get on with the actual boss fight within this. I'm not sure how I'd do, actually. The 2% Rosarius seems pretty useful, like it's proccing a fair bit. 2% still, you know, when you've got a whole room attacking you, is pretty reasonable. Good old suppression damage, completely feckin' pointless still. Good lord, change this damn system, please. I still need to have words with them about the suppression system. Not that I have any personal control contrary to common belief as to what the hell changes in this game, but I still... I only really enjoy this game when I've got builds that ignore the suppression system. Just take it out. Oh, I did enjoy the story anyway, but still I would have enjoyed the story more if I wasn't constantly being stun-locked. And it's just, you know, if you're having to build a certain thing to avoid suppression, then that says a lot, really, about the suppression system. At least that's my thoughts. Bish, bosh, bosh. Still doing fine for time. Hello. So, how are we doing? Davey J, how's it going, my man? Is there a Patreon goal for a console purchase and this game? Well, I've got a copy of this game. There isn't a Patreon thing to purchase. To be fair, my man, I probably, even if I had a console, I probably wouldn't play this much on it because it's the same game either way. It's just different controls. I couldn't really see the... That being said, I do need a proper Patreon goal because I hit one, now I'm slightly below one. My goal at the mo is really, first up, to get some games that I can sort of cover properly again, because this game I'm making content quite intermittently for. I've got a video for tomorrow, but it's quite hard to make 3, 4, 5 videos, you know, a day on this. A week, sorry. Chaos Bane, definitely would love to. Definitely that will be picking up. However, slight problem in that it's not coming out till next year. We've got Mechanicus, Battlefleet Gothica, all of those I'm super excited for. So those are going to be ones I'm going to be definitely doing some content for. Patreon goals, I need to have a think on that one, my man. I need to have a think. I need to have a think. Right. Defense, what are we going to reset? Because we're going to get rid of the close combat tree and we're going to stick some over in the area effect now. We're going to go all the way down to there. That is going to make each enemy within... Basically, if you hit 8 enemies, you will get 8% extra damage to the whole attack. So then I think we're going to go for damage of melee skills. Well, ranged I think is probably more appropriate because ranged is actually what the AoE ability does. Crit hit chance with range, not a terrible idea, but I tell you what, that's probably not a bad one. Oh, God. I mean, suppression, this one would be really good if I actually had it. Maybe the vulnerability on crits. It's not that good though, is it? Yo, what's up, my man Mojo? It's all good, Mojo. It's all good. I mean, I always thought this game was never going to be the next Diablo. I don't think I ever said it was ever going to be anywhere close. It's an indie game. You know, Van Helsing was like a 5 or 6 out of 10. That's kind of what I always expected this to be. I expected it to be maybe a 6 or 7 out of 10 at most. But yeah, it has fallen short of that mark. So, hey-ho, what can you do? Let's maybe have a little check more of AoE. So we've got damage to all AoE. We've got suppression damage. That's not particularly interesting. Grenades, not particularly useful. Cone and path skills, any of these actually that useful? I mean, that one's fairly useful. How many can we get towards? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. We can get rid of that. And we can do this. I don't really think this is worth it, but... Whoa, restoring that's a lot of suppression to restore. Right, we need one more. One more damn point. Where can we get it? We can't get it from there. I don't really want to get it from here. Support? Anywhere? Crit? No, I don't want to... Okay, can't take a point from there anyway. They're all essential. I'd say those are pretty essential. Maybe one of these. Maybe do like suppression damage until... Yeah, okay, we got this. We're going to do this. We got this, boys. And girl. We're going to do that and we're going to do this. But yeah, I mean, it's certainly safe to say the channel growth has taken a little bit of a nosedive. But it's going to happen. You know, drum up hype for a game, hype goes down, happens. Right, AoE is set, we're good to go. I think what we're going to do is we're going to cheat a little bit here and use destruction amplification, just to make our life a little bit easier. See you around, Lalandra. Take it easy, girl. Nice to see you again. Hopefully we get to play Don't Starve too. Oh man, Don't Starve. I need to play more of that. Such a cool game. Such a cool game. I might ask the developers of Chaos Bane if they can send a few... How to Survive codes, and we can do a few sessions of that, because that would be wicked to do some co-op for some streams. Yeah, I mean, it's fair, Mojo, you know. The thing is, you accept these things. The channel had some pretty massive growth like 2 months ago, and that's, you know, there was a lot of interest in Martyr. It was getting released. I think I've got 1,000 subs in like the space of a week, which is fucking crazy for someone with a tiny channel. That's nuts. But you know, there's a reason not many people wanted to cover this game in as much detail as I did. I think it's fairly self-evident. It's all good. I really don't mind. I really don't mind. I'll be sticking with it, you know. A lot of people want me to stop... No, I wouldn't say that. About 4 people want me to stop covering this game full stop because they feel it's because it's not a very popular game that I should stop giving it, you know, any airtime. That's not really how it works. Some people do like this game, and I'm not going to not cover it because the majority of people dislike it. If the game slowly gets worse with time, you know, and if it does get junked by the staff, then yeah, fair enough. I'd probably say, well, you've stopped making stuff, there's nothing really more to say, let's just let it die. But that's not happened, so until that day, I will be here talking about Martyr. But hopefully some other games too. Yeah, oh yes, Battlefleet Gothica 2. I mean, I had immense fun with Gladius. Don't get me wrong, I had a lot of fun with Gladius. And I would be covering that game a lot more if more people played it. And that sounds bad, but it really is an issue because I want to play it for PvP. Not enough people play it. I spent half an hour in a lobby getting ready to get a stream going. Didn't get a single person join the whole time. There was about 8 lobbies open and this was prime time. And I'm not saying that that's because the game's no good. It's just a small game. It's a niche game. I'm not surprised not that many people play it. I think it's a really good game and really undervalued, but what can you do? What can you do? Absolutely, that's true, Dave. Sometimes people like games that others don't. Someone's got to cover it. Now, I want to see what happens with Martyr as well. I mean, as an exercise of sheer curiosity too. Like, will the developers, you know, bring it back and salvage it a little bit? Will they make the changes that players want? Can they make the players happy? Is it possible? I don't even know. Because some of the changes needed and have been requested for a long time are not necessarily simple ones. Like, change the complete game design. Some of the systems that have been requested are simple, though. I'm not going to say that all of it's unrealistic. There are some very realistic things to implement. Although that being said, I'm also not a game designer, so I can only assume some things are fairly realistic. They may not be. Right, that should do a good chunk of damage, and it didn't. Oh. That is a good chunk of damage. Those damage spikes, though. Juicy. I must have had some double damage crits there. 1 in 4 chance of doing double damage is pretty nice. Oh, glorious. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest things that makes a difference to this build, is dealing double damage. 1 in every 4 leaps. That's probably why every now and again they die, and why sometimes no one dies. Right, let's crack on. Yeah, absolutely, I'm agreeing with you there, Chris. Playing with friends in this is pretty important because it does make it less grindy. It makes it less repetitive. And in that sense, I've had it hinted by the developers that General Chat's going to be working soon. Sadly, a bit late because the majority of people have already left. But if those players ever come back, having a working chat will help. That's for sure. I think there's enough mobs there, don't you? Good lord. I think this is doing a bit more damage, although I am also rocking the damage amplification, which is sort of cheating a little bit. An extra 50% damage here. Smack, smack, smack. We're getting there slowly. Went to go dodge an enemy and he ran into his mate. I'm not even sure that enemies still kill each other in this anymore. You know, I'm really not even sure if that's even a game feature now. I think... Oh, do I actually have to kill these? Oh, no, I don't. Fantastic. See ya. I am out of here. Yeah, I don't think this game will be abandoned. I'd be very curious to see, though. I mean, if it stays on 300 players for this length of time. The question is, when they release something big, how many people are going to come back? And, I mean, they've made money from sales. I'd be very curious to see what the player base is like on console right now. Does anyone actually have... And can you even access the player base number on console? I'd be so curious if anyone could fill me in. How is this doing? If it's got a few thousand people on it, and if it can hold on to a couple thousand people on each platform, maybe that's enough to keep it afloat. I mean, Van Helsing had a lot of content added to it, and it didn't have that many players. Had I think 2,000 people as a steady player base, something like that. I might be wrong. You're interested in being a psyker, but the warp system scares you. Well, that's good news, my friend, because it means that you're smart. You should be scared of the warp, because the warp is a scary thing. Something to be taken very seriously. It's really fine, to be fair. You can just use a bunch of different builds to make the warp system sort of redundant and not something you need to worry about anymore. It's not that bad, honestly. It's not that bad. You can really work around the heat system. It's just like an overheat mechanic, only it might summon a demon that will bite your bum. You know, it's not that bad. Smack, smack, smack. We'll pop all the mitigation stuff. I think it's all working out. And I'm never quite sure when I've got a Rosarius active, but I'm fairly sure they're probably helping. Let's get out of the way of that thing while it charges. Lols. I hate these bubbles. So the enemies are currently doing plus 375 damage. That's pretty reasonable, isn't it? Doesn't seem like that much either. Definitely we can get up to 100 in this. No probs. I'm probably going to die of boredom before I get to like 500 though. But we're getting there slowly. Could not stomach ranged anymore. I'm sorry to anyone that wanted to see a ranged Crusader blitz his way through all of this. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. Come on. Stacking up them vulnerabilities. Come on. Oh, and the execution. Oh. Make it stop. Oh, they only had standard edition. Well, I believe that just means you miss out on the season pass, but if you don't stay around long enough, you won't be, you know, missing that. It's going to be 22 DLCs over a year. There seems to be a bit of constant confusion surrounding the season system. The season pass has nothing to do with a season, and I admit it's a poor choice in marketing terminology on all fronts. Seasons within Martyr are free content patches. Free for every motherfucker. Console, PC, you get a new race, you get the next subsector, you get a load of shit added to the game. By a load, I mean not as much as we thought there was going to be, but you get some stuff added. That is nothing to do with what the Season Pass gives you. Season Pass simply gives you 22 DLCs for X amount of money. Nice and simple. Nice and simples. Damn, Mojo, you did play a lot. To be fair, my man, dip in and out. Don't play it too much. Don't get too invested. Just avoid the forums at all cost. And I think you can still have a little bit of fun on this. Now, let's see if we can swap over crisis management for something else. I mean, 40% less damage at low health is pretty nice. But let's see if we can maybe swap for something else. Let's see if we can go for, well, extra 500 HP is quite nice. Decrease inoculator effectiveness would make me sad, because I don't know if that applies to the actual buffs it gives me, but that would make me sad. Range damage, instant resurrection. Now there is one where you get extra damage reduction when you die, which might actually be fairly useful. Where is it? The damage bonus equal to your deflect value is not too bad, but my deflect is only 30. It's not that high. We could probably get it higher, but not yet. Where are we going to go? That's not too bad for clearing missions and doing a lot of stuff. Each kill giving you 1% crit hit chance and 1% crit hit strength for 5 seconds. That's not too bad if you want to do a leapfrog build. Let's have a little look. Won't be using any armor skills, so that's kind of pointless. Melee damage, not too bad. Duration of debuffs, not too bad. Physical damage, 30% is not too bad. All of these aren't, quote, too bad, but also not too good. I'm still kind of gutted that you have to use this augmented body too. It still makes me sad that just every build feels like it has to have this, or it's just going to be very painful. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't think there's actually anything much here that we can use otherwise. All these choices and not many that actually work with us, which does make me sad. Yeah, let's just crack on then, I guess. That one I would probably go with, subdermal plating. I think that would be a cool one to invest into. For now, we'll just stick with what we got. Let's just have a little check over of the hammer here and see if there's anything here that can be sort of worked with. 30 hit points on hit. I think I might actually have a little go at modifying. Let's just see. Because what I'd love to upgrade is just the damage of Thundering Leap. That's probably not a bad idea. Critical hit chance ain't too bad either. And we could probably change 10% melee damage for... If we get 30% Thundering Leap, that's not too bad. Let's see if we can get that. Thundering Leap. Thundering Leap. How much does the damage go up to? Dang. Thundering Leap, come on. We're going to be here a little while, guys. Don't worry, we'll get there. HP per kill, melee damage, strike. Thundering Leap, please. I wonder if it even has that. It's not too bad. Melee damage. Some people do enjoy it. Ah, there we go. Damage for Thundering Leap. Now, what we're going to do is... Where are you? Damage when surrounded. That's not too bad. But what we want... There we go. There we go, boys. Thundering Leap cooldown. So now we're down to 6.2 seconds, which is a little bit better. And we got 30% damage bonus to it. And I don't even know if this one even works. I'm not exactly sure. 121 damage. I wonder if that can go any higher. Let's just have a little look. 121. Do I have any other? 120. Yeah, I think that's actually the cap. Okay, let's see if this now does any better. Fingers crossed. Plenty of beer in the fridge, good man. What is up, guys? Welcome to the stream. We are now on battle 78. We're slowly getting there. I feel like the damage mitigation is probably the way to go. Let's go for... We have more inoculators in total, so that's what we're going to stick with. And let's crack on. Let's crack on. So, obviously going to have a couple of videos out this weekend. Going to be having one talking about the story choices within Martyr, and I'm not sure on the last one right now. I need to have a little think. I might stick out the preview for my one-shot campaign. I'm going to have a go at DMing a campaign for Wrath and Glory. I'm just going to do a one-off, one-shot session, the 3-hour story. I've already picked the story. I know what I'm going to be doing. Well, I know the setting. Oh, glorious. Glorious, glorious, glorious. Let's just gather up loads of stuff first. So, yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to. I've never DM'd a session before. I have no idea how it's going to go, but I am going to be doing a gangster-orientated one. It's going to be Gangster Underhive, Necromunda-ish, but it's going to be a little bit more London-themed, London gangs. Think Snatch 40k. That's what I'm aiming for. I get to do my Cockney accent a lot. I'll get to go for a Cockney walk and then go up the apples and pears. I'm going to send you an old link, Mo. I don't know how to send you a link. You're not in my Discord. If you join my Discord, I'd send you a link. I'll send you the preview, my friend. Whet the appetite as such. Whet the appetite. There we go. Bash, bash, bosh. So this difficulty's still fine. We're on to 88% damage reduction now. but we're still damaging enemies plenty fast. It's just a case of how much damage we're taking that's, well, still not really a problem, is it? Actually seems more of a problem when there's not so many enemies here. How very curious. Bash, bash, bash. There we go, getting them heals in. What's the Discord? Do we have any mods in here right now, guys? Could someone send the old Hydra Discord, Auto Hydra? It's probably a good time. If you do want to come in and chat, do bear in mind we've got a lot of salty people that aren't very happy with Martyr. So if you come in and say you love Martyr, be prepared for salt. Some of us testers are old and grumpy, and we've been on the game for the last couple of years, so a lot of us are currently in sort of the downtime from the game at the moment, but we do have a good bunch of players. We do have a good community. Currently obsessed with Monster Hunter and World of Warcraft, though. It was 40k orientated as a Discord, but there you go. But, oh, to go back on topic, oh dear, we do have a one-shot coming probably in a couple of weeks. I've got the players sorted. I'm going to be running this for a completely different group, a bunch of guys I've never played for before. Most of it's going to be improv'd. It's not going to be anything to take itself too seriously, but it should be a little bit of fun. It's going to be gangster themed, and it's going to be gritty. And I'm hoping, as my name is Matt, I will be the next Matt Mercer capper. Dude's such a legend. I'm watching Critical Role at the moment, just in awe of that man's voice acting talents. Nightbot somewhere. Okay, well, I'll send you guys a linko in a moment after we're done with cracking through this one. Yeah, I mean, I'm in such awe of that man's, like, not only his vocal range and sort of, it's just his voice acting so good. And his character design is just, every time he plays a character, it's brilliant. Dude's a legend. I've not done a one-shot before, but Chaz, there will be a video of this one. I've never DM'd a game before, so this will be the first, and I will be recording it. I don't think the guys are going to want to be on video. I will be. Maybe one other guy might help a little bit. I find that it helps a little bit, especially if you've got the GM on, because I think GMs should talk with their hands a little bit too. One of the beauties of watching someone like Matt Mercer, GM, DM, whatever the fuck you call it, is his face when he's playing a character instantly jumps into it, and these exaggerated expressions when he's squinting as an old man and stuff like that, it makes something come alive just a lot more. There are some pretty good Discords if you're after 40k lore, to be fair. Mine is not... I mean, not say my Discord, but my Discord contains very little 40k lore-focused stuff. There are certainly some Discords dedicated to it, so if your goal is to get yourself clued up on 40k lore, there is some good places out there, and some very good YouTube channels too. Lore is one of the things where it's already done, so I don't really feel the need to do it. Yeah, I mean, I could have just decided to jump and read the Wikipedia with a better microphone than the channel that shall not be named. But I don't want to do a channel based on reading Wikipedia. Fuck that. I want to do something that's not being done, which in my view is going into a good bit of detail on some of the 40k games that are coming out. That's my ambition anyway. Sadly, I don't feel there's enough detail to warrant guides in Martyr right now. There's a bit, but I feel like I've sort of done most of what I need to do. Okay, there's build videos, but the game makes it so hard to do build videos that I'm not doing many build videos. Oh, Heather will run away. Yeah, build videos were one of the intended. I was going to be doing a build video every few days, but You got to get the gear, you got to go farm materials just so you can respec. Save up a bunch of gold, credits, whatever the heck you want to call it. Not easy to do. Well, if you don't know much about Warhammer, you need to, my friend. It's a really fucking cool hobby. It's a really cool hobby. There's lots of places you can learn it too. Lots of places you can learn it. I mean, one good way to learn it, in my view, is listening to things like Dark Heresy campaigns and roleplays. I think some of those are brilliant. There's some really good, like, just a book, to be fair, is one of the best places to get yourself, like, in the game, in your head in the place. The thing is, though, when you read books, is you have to take into account that books are not tabletop and they are not games. Each of them will have, let's say, different balancing. A Space Marine on tabletop is different to a Space Marine on book, and they are different to a Space Marine in game. So you might think, oh, hang on, this book told me that a Space Marine can kill 300 guardsmen. And then on a tabletop, that's not going to be the case, obviously, because that would be ridiculous. You know, people need to field armies of units, not one Space Marine against an entire 500 quid's worth of Imperial Guard. But I think the books encapsulate the universe beautifully. Eisenhorn, great place to start. If you like this game, to be fair, get yourself the audiobook of Eisenhorn. Nip onto Audible, get yourself the free trial. I think it costs you something like £5. Jump on Audible. I don't have an affiliate link or anything. I'm not sponsored by them, but you'll spend something like £5 a month for a book token and get yourself Eisenhorn. And Toby Maguire, I think, who's the voice actor, does a cracking job. Really good job. That way as well, the reason I like the audiobooks is you get to hear how the words are pronounced, and you get to actually hear a bit of the accents and settings. Like, some of the things don't really come alive when you're reading them in text, but come alive, in my view, a lot better when you're hearing it in audio form. Why did no one make a Mass Effect in 40k? I think, truth be told, my friend, because it's expensive to make. I think that's the thing. Expensive. I mean, to be fair, you could, maybe there are people that you know, you could just cut a few corners when it comes to like facial expressions, and you could have everyone wearing a fucking helmet, so you don't have to do too much of an animation side of things, and maybe actually it wouldn't be that bad. Maybe I'm talking out my butt here. But I feel like most companies making 40k games are making the cheaper genres. Martyr's probably one of the exceptions. Like, most of the games of 40k are turn-based, tile-based, top-down, low graphics. I mean, 2 people made Gladius, for God's sake. There is a lot of potential for 40k games. Oh, there absolutely is. I kind of hope with all of the little 40k mini games coming out, like they're the new Gorka Morka, Speed Freaks, whatever the fuck it's called. I kind of hope that the new Rogue Trader, I hope that sees spin-off games go in there as well. And what I would really like to see is an actual, I would like to see Games Workshop, and they probably have something similar to this already, is actually get a little bit more involved with game design, and actually, because they give their license out and they do have a big involvement with what goes in a game, contrary to common belief. They have conversations, like they have several people that their entire job is just to liaise with game developers to discuss what they're putting in games. But I feel like there are sometimes situations where they need to be like, you know, maybe we shouldn't have a game made on this. And I like their strategy of having all of these games made, but the problem is once you've got a top-down ARPG 40k game, no one else is going to make one now. Like, it's done. You know, that's what kind of makes me a bit sad. If you give if you give the IP to a company to make a specific game, it's going to be a lot harder for a AAA company to come along and say, okay, well, we're going to make one of the same genre. They could, but I think it's just off-putting. And that's kind of one of the downsides, I think, of just dishing their license out as liberally as they do. I think in some ways they actually sort of box themselves in a little bit by getting so many cheap companies to do it. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, I mean, I can't really share all this, Verum, but when I was over in Budapest, chatting with the Neocore developers, we'll go out for a few beers and talk about the game's history, we had a good long chat about the original design concept for this, and basically it was months and months and months of chatting back and forth between Neocore and Games Workshop to come up with this concept of what we've got here. I need to actually do this mission bit quicker, don't I? Let's crack on. And Games Workshop gave many of the ideas for concepts within this. They were not taking a backseat being like, oh yeah, sure, make a game, just, have the license, do what you fancy, do as you like. Not at all. They were very involved. They weren't making decisions, but they were part of the decision-making process, even for picking classes, etc. Like, should we be having this class as a Crusader, or would it be... The Crusader was originally going to be another class altogether. Still tanky orientated, but it was, I think it was actually a Games Workshop staff member that said, well, why don't you do a Crusader for this one? I think that will work better. And then they go, yeah, you know what, I think that's right. And in terms of game actual design and function, I'm not sure. Will this thing stop feckin' healing itself? We're actually not going to pass this one, are we? We're actually not going to complete this one. Sad face. That's my fault for dossing around a bit too much. We'll have another crack in a mo. I feel like this one shouldn't really have been that tricky, but... What I think we do need is some means to deflect a bit more damage. I think that would be a good shout. Oh, and there it is. There it is. 10 seconds wasted. Games Workshop games do have good aesthetics, and I'll tell you why, because aesthetics is the one thing they have on a super duper tight leash. The reason 40k games look good is because Games Workshop don't say, do you mind making a Space Marine? They say, this is the model that you are going to make, and this is the exact dimensions. Everything down from like the distance of the shoulder pauldrons and the ratio from the helmet to all of that stuff. Games Workshop basically, to give you an example, Neocore don't even do concept art. They don't need to, because when they're implementing a unit, Games Workshop says, this is the unit. This is what it needs to look like. This is how tall it needs to be in relation to the other units. This is how long each of these extremities will be. The distance between, I don't know, the bollocks and its eyebrows. Or, you know exactly what you're making. You're just literally colouring it in. And that's why 40k games look good. Clearly there is a little bit of artistic license given to games like Gladius per se, which does a stylised version. Clearly there is a little bit of flexibility with this, but I know for Martyr that they're very, very specific. Very, very specific in terms of how things are being built. Smack. We're actually going to be a while, aren't we? We're not even done yet. Oh, sad face. And it might be different for different companies. It might just be, oh, fuck it, we can just exit. It's not a bad shout. Save spending all day here. Oh, crack the neck. Feels good. Posture's bad. 12:15. Nice. No good weapons. 2 unread mails. My man. My man. Still sending me the snacks. Torpor, you're a legend. Dude's still looking after me. Still looking after me. 3 more missions of destruction amplification. And what we need to do is crack on. That's what we need to do. Just crack on. So, more of this. Down we go. We're going to try that one again. 78. We should be able to do this. Do we need to do this? Mines? Do we need to do that? Stormwatcher, Space Marine, artillery strikes. How about that? I'm not going to go for that. I mean, the extra ones of these would probably be semi-useful. Having extra things like, well, the extra hit points is kind of okay. Support skill regen, that would be cool. I'll tell you what, we're going to go for that, actually. Let's do it. Current build. Yeah, the current build we'll go through in a mo. We went through it at the start of the stream, but it's basically built around the perk that gives you 7% of your focus resource as extra damage reduction, which is how I've got up to near 70% damage reduction. And then we've also got a skill that gives us a lovely bit of extra deflect based on damage reduction. So basically we're just super tanky. That is pretty much the build. We've also got a Rosarius chance on being hit for the old build. Oh, come on, round we go. Nope, never mind. Need to be a little bit quicker here. Dakka, 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 choppy, chop, chop. Dakka, 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 choppy, chop, chop. On to the next area. The damage reduction's pretty good. Like, I'm taking in a bonus 390% here. It's pretty nuts, isn't it? However, the damage I'm dealing is still a little bit on the wimpy side. Come on. Still got full belt charges. Oh, yeah. Nice. And I'm looking forward to getting another 3 toughness, which is going to make all the difference. Come on. Faster, faster, faster. Speed and damage is probably the limiting variable for me now, but I don't need much more to be able to complete this. Oh, come back here. Nice. Right, off we go. Press the wrong damn button, like a scrub. Oh, come on. And I don't think you have to kill the demons, so we can kill that guy and then run through. Yes, nice. Off we go. Still got full belt charges. Very nice. Yeah, Dale. I'll do all the points and stuff in a mo for you. No problemo. Right, just go ahead and kill these. Come on. Come on. So much Dakka. Lol. So much Dakka. Brilliant.
Recoil unclean.
Not particularly skillful build, I will say. Well, not the way I'm playing it right now, which is pretty much just try and go potato. See how much damage you can do. It works. Oh dear. Okay. Come on. Time to die. And I think we can stun turrets with this as well, which is super handy. Yes, we can. Very nice. Oh, come on. Starting to get to the point now where it's getting a little bit okay. I've done this a few times now. we can ignore that demon too. That's a little trick to make things a little bit goddamn quicker. Smack, smack, smack. Nearly there. Another room down. Come on. They take such a beating. There we go. Supplies. Ah, we are full again on belts. Nice. Okay. Absolutely, absolutely. Talisman Horus Heresy game for sure. I like the card game. I'm going to say it again. I know people are all triggered with card games right now, and they're you know, they're not fashionable because they cost money and stuff to keep playing. And I don't like the business model quite so much, given how much I'm presuming how much time and effort goes into it. Although that being said, having an actual app in the App Store, like you give up a fair bit of money just to do that. But I like the game. I think it's pretty cool. Everyone come and group up. Come on. This is actually not bad in terms of the build. My pogo build is back. Smack, smack, smack. Space Wolf game, I think that's actually got some fairly good reviews, you know. There we go, and we're off. Pop that shield, just because we're walking through, and yeah, we've got 9 minutes to do the last room. Good lord. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We'll pop a few of these things. Oh, let's pay a bit of attention here. It really is just a case of doing as much damage as you can with this build to keep yourself topped up, basically, on health. Still not too sure where the strategy comes into this. So it is just a game of leapfrog, really. Don't get me wrong, I'm kind of digging the build. Extra bit of damage mitigation would go a long way right now. That extra 2 points of toughness would make a big old difference. Smack, and... have I left a gate here somewhere? Ah, there, I have. I thought there was enemies coming out of the woodwork. I like the fact that the ones that came out the gate just disintegrate. That's pretty funky. Right. And we are looking good. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, boys. Still not particularly high in Warzone level, but that is something that would make this considerably easier as well. There's probably one of them somewhere that gives you some extra damage mitigation. That would be handy. There's certainly one that caps the amount of damage you can take on hit, but that's only going to be so useful because you can only take so many hits. Right, level 15 in Warzone XP. Good lord, that's going to take a while to level up. That is a good amount of relics, though. How about that? Movement speed, heat resist, physical resist, deflected attacks have a 5% chance to go back to the attacker. Not bad, not great. So, skill-wise, what we're doing right now, we're going for the area effect tree mainly just to get eradicative protocols, which I'm actually not quite sure is the best investment for this build right now. The main stuff for this build is defense over here. 25% of damage reduction is added to deflect. Really, really strong. Really strong. 2% damage reduction. We've got damage reduction by armor increased by 20%. You combine that with the inventory over here, and the armor is 40 damage reduction. So just that other point for the 20% gives you an extra 8 damage reduction, which is huge. You've got a whopping amount of 68% damage reduction with this, which is huge. That is buffed slightly by
increasing our focus as much as we can, which goes up with Protection Ultima. 7% of your resources added to damage reduction, and that is quite a bit considering we have 186 focus. We're also getting a little bit more focus from the support tree just to get all of that damage reduction up there. We could probably get rid of that one just to get an extra point. The suppression tree would be absolutely essential because that would also give us 10% damage reduction bonus for 1 second whenever the character is hit in suppression status green. Our suppression status will be green all the time because we're rocking Augmented Body 2. We'd also have 1, 2, 3 more damage reduction bonus when our suppression status is green. We'll just make this immensely powerful. I need to get this suppression doodah hickey unlocked. I need to actually go out of my way to just farm those missions for a couple of hours, but honestly, I'd rather kick myself in the nuts than go out of my way to do that. Hit point tree, we're really specking into this. 5% plus 5 damage reduction bonus when your suppression status is red. Not a lot of point in getting that when your suppression status won't be budging. Basically getting this just to get our hit points up to a ridiculous amount. I'd say maybe toy with getting rid of area effects and spreading that out in close combat, maybe even ranged, even though you're using a thunder hammer. The thing is with a thunder hammer is the actual attacks on it, like this one, actually is a ranged ability, not a melee, which is stupid in terms of how it works. But there you go, that is how it works. So let's crack on here and have another round. I can cope with one more before I pass out, I think. Yeah, you are able to respec your build. You have to keep an eye over in the shop and buy some of these mind resets. Each one of these will reset 1 tree. So if I eat that, nom 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 nom, then we go over here. I can click on a tree and click reset, and that will consume one of the charges. It's quite expensive. It's quite frustrating. I wish they hadn't really made this type of system, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and I wonder what actually we can do here. What else do we have that will benefit us eventually? Okay, 50%. Damn, that's actually not bad. Reflecting 50% of incoming damage to enemies. That is pretty crazy. 100% to suppression resistance. Nope. Nope. Damage. That's kind of okay. Capping the incoming damage at 750 hit points per hit. I hope that's before the damage reduction, so each hit would be capped at like 250. That's not too bad. Bullet spread of ranged weapons. None of these are actually that... No. Where's the survivability ones? That's what we really, really need. Dots are better. No. No. So the only ones here that will really be useful are hit points, maybe increasing damage, but actually just the extra charges from medkits and grenades. Probably the best stuff you can get. Let's go all the way down here to 81. And let's go. Oh. Beer for the road? What's going on, Mojo? Did a beer come out of nowhere? What's going on? I wouldn't mind a beer. I would not mind a beer, but I'm all out. I've had a coffee. Doesn't really count, but... Beer tomorrow, though. I'm going to go see the folks for the day. That'll be nice. Gonna wash the car in the morning. Life story time with Hydra. I hope it isn't raining all day. It's a bank holiday weekend. I just want a little bit of sunshine. Just give me a little bit. Just a little bit and I'll be good. Damn, this is not that hard, is it? Come on. Jump, daka, daka, daka. One more. One more. Just one more. Absolutely, Mojo. No, but it probably will be one more. Because I'm getting in that mindset where like I just want the mission to end like after the first room. Like I'm tired, I'm bored. Unfortunately, this is what happens when you play the game a lot. You realise that there really isn't much variety. Every time you go on one of these missions, it's the same. Every enemy faction feels the same. They've got lovely looking units. That's for show. What is the problem with them is you react the same to all of them. It's one of the biggest flaws of this game in my mind, and it's one that I've moaned about for the past couple of years, that if an enemy, like this enemy has a bolt gun, that means nothing. I don't change how I play, I don't respond, I don't have to do anything different. It comes with abilities, but they're irrelevant in terms of their outcome on how I make decisions. And that is what needed to change and still needs to change in this game. The fact that you've got nothing that you see in front of you that really determines what you do is a big issue. It's the one thing I just... Even if the enemies had, like, let's say that bolt gun, let's say he brings up a casting bar and it charges for over 5 seconds as he takes aim and he goes for one of the headshots. Give him that, make me interrupt it, you know? Give me something to pay attention to and to react to, and I think this game would do a lot better. I'm not saying it would make the game perfect, it would not, but it would be a step in the right direction. Absolutely, absolutely. That's the thing, Mojo, and the thing is you probably have done it a million times before. Maybe not a million, but it feels like a million, and that's kind of the problem. And the issue is every map kind of has the same template of enemies. It's kind of got small, medium, large, slightly larger, very large enemies, and that is the extent of the variety. It is, you know, there isn't... Think of a usual game. You start off, you see a zombie. You kill the zombie, you go forwards, you see a slightly bigger zombie. You kill about 10 slightly bigger zombies, and then you kill a boss zombie. And then you move to a next area and you see some zombie dogs. And then you move to the next area and the zombie dogs have got a bit quicker and they got spikes on them. And then you find some bats. And then the bats come and whack you for a little bit. And all of this stuff happens, and it's wonderful because it slowly becomes more and more and more varied as you go. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 2 days later, you're playing the game. And guess what? One of the enemies you haven't seen for ages comes back, and this time he's got a crazy new ability that he didn't have before. And you're like, what the fuck? He just did that for me from all the way over there, and now I'm dead. And you just have to learn and adapt and do something different. And that is what makes ARPGs slightly less repetitive, the fact that you learn something as you're playing. And Martyr doesn't have that, unfortunately, at all. Its enemies are all just tank and spank. That's pretty much it, and I've been saying this for the last couple of years, Mojo. Like, I could show you a video I think I made in 2016 on this. No, it was 2017, but seriously, like, this is... And I'm accused of white knighting. Like, I said it without insulting. I was like, look, the game doesn't have this aspect, and this is a problem. But and this is why the game's a problem. You just don't learn anything as you go. The learning curve in Martyr, and the only thing you have to learn for combat is where to stand. That is the... Okay, I could maybe try and move out of the way of those overhead smashes. That's it. That's about the complexity of the learning curve. Like, oh, they're attacking me, let me move a little bit. And yeah, fair enough, other games will have that too, but they'll have so many enemies doing different abilities that you have to react differently to. And they're trying, like this range shield, like all of a sudden now I can't do range damage to him. They're trying. It's far too late. They're trying. The thing is, Chaz, they don't need to add unit types at all. They need to make the unit types that they've got actually do something that makes them different and not just be a meat shield with a left click button. That, I think, is the problem, is they've started to add some enemy abilities, but right now they're not quite enough to actually influence your gameplay choices. Once you get to a certain point in the game, like at this point in the game, my decision-making process is, am I taking enough damage? Am I dealing enough damage? Am I healing? Am I standing in the right place? Am I not? And it's basically a trial and error of figuring out where you can stand and get away with and where you can't. And there are some more complex builds, I'm not going to lie. I'm playing a fairly brain-dead one. But what they need are, and I think what all ARPGs need, units, mobs and enemies that make you have to change your behaviour in some way and make you learn something when you die. Not just, oh, shit, I need to actually kite them back and clump them up a little bit more next time, which is so horrible to have as the only thing to learn from a game. Yeah, the cover system has good ambitions. It doesn't really work that well at the moment. I don't mind it slowing down gameplay, but it's too inconsistent, which is a problem. If you balance the game around the cover system, then you need the cover system to be consistent, and it's kind of not, because there's so many maps and situations where the cover system just is sort of forgotten, like this. Like, there's some cover, but it's quite hard to actually use it in this setting. Don't get me wrong, it's not a lost hope. But if each enemy in this game had 3 abilities and they were slightly varied... Oh, really? Have I left someone? Yoo-hoo. Oh, there he is. There he is. Wow. Aren't you a clever little boy? Right. And on we go. Let's think back to what worked in Diablo 3. And fuck it. Path of Exile. Even Van Helsing. Enemies get a pool of abilities. Enemies get given random abilities. I don't think Van Helsing actually did that. I think they were pre-scripted. But enemies will have different combinations of abilities. And if you've got 3 abilities, let's say, you've got 3 abilities... I'm not particularly maths, but I believe you do sort of 3 cubed, and that's how many combinations, assuming you could have the same ability twice. But you kind of get what I'm saying. If you've got 3 different abilities, the total number of combinations is pretty feckin' big compared to only having 1 ability on the class. And I think that is what Martyr really, really needs, is just the ability to make stuff varied. And right now, it can't do that with what it's got, because there is no pool of abilities for enemies. And you could maybe try and have some other way to get around this by having, like, I don't know, lots of different types of enemies with lots of different abilities, but that's clearly not something Neocore are able to do. I think a long time ago, enemy abilities needed to be something factored into the core part of this game. That's all I think, and it's not a big thing to ask for, because it's the industry norm of the genre. You know, it's not a big ask. Variety of gameplay. I mean, you look at each of those enemy abilities in Diablo 3, and when you think about each one of them, they're so beautifully arranged, because each one puts different builds at a disadvantage in different situations. It's really beautiful when you look at it. Some of them will make walls, so that blocks line of sight for ranged characters, and that forces ranged characters outside of their comfort zone, so they have to come and stand close to you, putting them at a disadvantage, meaning that if they've got really easy gameplay, if they're too overpowered, guess what? They're going to be far more likely to die. Then you've got some that will summon ground-based damage-dealing over time abilities. Guess what? Those guys are going to have a hard time killing mobs with that ability, because they're going to have to dodge like a mofo so they don't die. This system works perfectly, because if you've got something that's overpowered or performing very, very well, even just farming basic content, every now and again you'll see a combination of skills and abilities that fuck you up because they are designed to fuck up your playstyle. And that is exactly what you need to stop a player falling asleep. And that is still... Fuck it, I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow. I should have just clicked record then, really, but that is the problem, because you can fall asleep in Martyr, because there's nothing that challenges your builds, your playstyles, and this isn't, like, a weird thing to ask for. This is ARPG 101. This is the basics here. And it works. Every game has done it. And maybe they're worried about canon being like, how do we give a Plague Bearer the same abilities as a Chaos Space Marine? Maybe that's not canon. I think in some situations you need to say, look, fuck canon. if that Plague Bearer needs a charge ability, he needs a, I don't know, a summoned spell that's going to do something on you. Yeah, okay, making all these animations is going to be a headache. And this ain't something that's going to happen quickly. Like, if it was ever going to happen, it would have happened a long time ago. But the fact that every Psyker has the same 2 abilities, like this purple thing, is a good idea. It's heading in the right direction, but it's not enough. It's not enough. You need to not know what ability they're going to cast before they cast it. Because if you already know what they're going to do, it's not really going to be, you know, of much interest to you as a player. But there you go. That's the rant over for now. That's the rant over. We haven't had a good rant and waffle for ages. That was exciting. It's nice to feel a little bit of passion coming out again. But this is a conversation I had a long time ago. And it's such a simple thing. Such a simple thing. Like even... Oh... If you take something like Guild Wars, similar weapon system in a sense because it has abilities tied to weapons. The execution of weaving abilities together forms a learning curve for the game because you need to actually do like, I don't know, ABX YAB to do your awesome combo, and then it does a lot more damage and it's, you know, and used appropriately and it's a lot better. Martyr has the skill-based system, but instead it's gone for like these skill tags of rapid fire and anti-armor and fleshbane. And the problem is, and this is just a problem with Martyr's core design, and I've said this since day one as well. The problem is it just turns into a game of snap. It's, oh look, I've got an armored enemy. Press the anti-armor ability, hold that button down till it's dead. Oh look, just a non-armored ability guy. Hold that button down till it's dead. And you just walk around, and the moment you see an enemy you need to kill, you just press the right button to kill it. And that's so unempowering for a player to actually do, because it's no learning curve to that. It's as simple as, you know, doing your shoelaces up. It is not a big ask of someone to be able to play snap with things that they can visibly see. So that's something that I do think needs to be thought about, looked into, discussed, whatever. Because it's still a problem. Still a problem today. But that's not one I don't think that's going to change. Even though it needs to. I think that would be one that I think is a big issue. You see, if I actually did have any influence on the design of this game, then I wouldn't have been moaning about stuff for 2 years. I'm sometimes accused of letting the game down by not giving good enough feedback, or not getting the right stuff changed. Fucking none of the stuff I've asked to be... Yeah, okay, there is plenty of stuff the developers have changed in accordance with feedback, but the big stuff I've asked for, no. To be fair, it's because the big stuff I've asked for is big stuff, and they don't probably have time to rework the entire weapon system of the game. But the weapon system they've gone for has some problems. I've already said one more, and I have to be honest with you guys. My eyes are glazing over here, and I'm ready for bed. Grumpy Hydra needs to get some sleep, but this has been enjoyable actually. It's been nice having a little bit of a rant and waffle, but definitely weapon system 2, that maybe needs another video, because this walking around playing Snap, like, some of the weapons have a combo system that kind of works. The Needler kind of does. You like left click, left click, left click, left click, 3, left click, left click, left 3, or whatever the AoE button is. It might even be the right click. That's kind of heading towards a direction of being semi-entertaining. But it's still not enough, really. It's still not that enough. Like, MOBAs have builds and characters that make 4 buttons interesting, and I would rather learn a rotation and become good at executing the rotation. And just imagine if all of the different weapons were like a different MOBA god. So you had a bunch of different abilities and they just played differently. Like, you'd get an interrupt, a leap, a dash, and I think that's kind of what they went for, but it doesn't play like a MOBA.
And I'm not saying the game should be MOBA and lane layouts and shit like that, but just look at how the actual units handle in a MOBA. Every single god, just by having one different ability, handles differently, can cope with different situations differently, has different strengths and weaknesses, and it's all very well hovering around a sort of central balance point. And I think Martyr wanted to try and do something like that and just kind of didn't. But there you go. Chaz, you've hit the nail on the head there. The atmosphere is spot on. I really like a lot of things about the game. The visuals, the audio, the atmosphere, the voice acting I really like, the story I really like. I know some people didn't like the story. I really like it. Guys, it's been magical. Mojo, hit me up on Discord. I'll give you the little spicy trailer. Heck, I might even publish it tomorrow. It's just going to be a one-shot Wrath and Glory campaign coming up in a week or two. My first ever episode DMing a largely improvised campaign, but I'm going to put the little trailer down. It's just 2 minutes of me doing a verbal introduction to it, but I'll probably publish that tomorrow and see what you guys think. Take care. All the best, guys. See you soon.